Good morning. Today we are working on CO14. I can locate a fraction on a number line and know its value relative to 0, a half, and 1. So we can think of this objective as estimating the value of a fraction. A quarterback, so think about a football game if you watch the Vikings play on Sunday, quarterback who completes 25 out of 44 of his passes completed about half his passes, because half of 44 would be 22. So 25 is really close to a half. It's really close to that 22. Eating 3/90th of M&Ms, you have 90 M&Ms and you only eat 3 of them, is eating almost none of them, right? Because you have 90 and you only eat 3, you still have a whole lot left. So that's close to the 0 end, like almost as if you didn't eat any. Super close. But if your mom was counting, she would know that you ate 3 of them. But super close to 0. Getting 35 out of 36 on a test is getting almost all of them correct. What would we call it if it was 36 out of 36? Ava?
100%.
It's 100%, which translates to what when we're thinking of 0, half, and 1 whole? Hannah? 1. 36 over 36. If you have 100%, that's 1. So if we think about our percentages, 100% equals 1 whole. It's all of it. So 35 out of 36 is super close to that 1 whole, really close to 100%. So we're going to be using that 0, half, and 1 for our estimations because they're common values that are easy to visualize. So we're going to look at this and we're going to write whether each fraction is closer to 0, a half, or 1. Explain how you know. So if we look at this first one, 7/8 is close to what? Is it close to the 0, the half, or the 1? Ava?
It's closer to the 1.
To the 1. How do we know that? Zelda?
Because if you added 1 more, it would be 8/8.
Yeah.
And
Because it's close to 8/8. That's exactly it. So when we're explaining how we know, this is what I want to see. I want to see 0, half, or 1, and what it is that it's close to. So let's look at our next one. 4/40. Is that close to 0, a half, or 1? Did you have it, Bryn? Yeah. How did you know? Because it is close to 0/40. Next one, 11/18. What do you think, Layla? Say it louder for me. I still can't hear you, hon. So 11/18 you think is close to 1. What would it be if it was 1 whole? 18/18. What would it be if it was a half? 9/18. What is 11/18 closer to? Is 11 closer to the 9 or closer to the 18?
9.
It's closer to the 9. So for this one, because we had to think what was the 8, what was the 1 whole, and what was the half, we know it's going to be closer to the halfway mark. Sometimes you have to double check. So if you think it might be the 1 whole, always ask yourself, what is the halfway mark? Which one is it closer to? Does that make sense how we figured that out? It's always good to double check yourself and say, okay, I think it's 1 whole, but let me check what the halfway mark would be. So you might catch yourself on some of those saying, oh, I thought it was going to be a half, but really it was a whole that it was closer to. Or I thought it was a whole, but really it was a half. Let's do the next row together. or at least one of the next row. 2/5. What do you think 2/5 is closer to? 0, a half, or a whole? Melanie? Okay. What would a half be of 2/5? Of the 5? Yeah, it would be 2.5 fifths. And we know 2 is super close to 2.5. So we know that you can't get it really a whole lot closer. Zelda?
It could be 0 because 2 is close to 0 as well.
Well, if it was 0, Zelda, we would have 0 over 5, right?
Yeah.
What is 2 closer to? Is 2 closer to 0 or is 2 closer to 2.5?
Probably 2.
Not probably. What is it closer to? 2.5. It is, this is math. We don't do probablys. We say, 2 is only a half a point away from 2.5, but it's 2 points away from 0. So we want to put which one it is closer to. Okay? All right. You're going to do the rest of these on your own because we've got more to look at for today's work. It says place each fraction below in its appropriate place on the number line. This is one of our Khan Academies where we're using the number line with our fractions, thinking about where it goes. So if we were at 28/50ths, where would that go on the number line? Is it going to be close to 0, close to a half, or close to 1? What do you think, Connor? 28/50ths.
I think it was like over the middle, or over 1/2.
Yeah, how do you know that, Connor?
25 over 50 would be 1/2.
Yeah, 25 over 50 is a half. So this is a little bit bigger than a half. So we're going to go just a little bit bigger than a half. Because we know it's close to a half, but it's bigger. So we have to make sure we're on the correct side of the half. Dom and Cam, that is not paying attention. Dom, why don't you move to the front table here? Now we have 8/9. Where am I going to put that on my number line? Hannah?
Almost to the 1.
Almost to the 1 because we know 1 whole would be 9 over 9 and it's super close to that. So I'm going to put it almost to the 1. Now let's look at 2 over 11. What is that going to be close to? Liam?
0?
0. Yes, because 0 would be 0 over 11 and 2 is the closest to the 0. So I'm going to put it close to 0. And then we have our last one. 8/18. Where is that going to go? So I want everyone to try to figure it out. Where would I put 8/18 on my number line? I'm giving us a second. What do you think, Liv? I saw that hand going up. Be brave.
Close to like 1/2.
So it's going to be close to a half. What is a half of 8/18? 9/18. So if we know halfway is 9/18, Liv, am I going to put 8/18 to the left? Is it smaller, or am I going to put it to the right? Is it bigger? To the left, because 8 is smaller than 9, so I know it's going to be just a little bit smaller than a half. So it's important that we look at that. Which side of the half, which side of the 1 does it go on? Is it a little smaller, or is it a little bigger? All right, let's look at our second page. We're going to complete the table by writing in values that make the fraction close, but not equal to 0, half, or 1. So if we look at 32 as a numerator, what denominator would make that close to 0? If I have 32 on the top, what might I put on the bottom? There's not one correct answer, but we have to be logical about it. What do you think, Ava?
Like 75? Or no, like 100 maybe?
I would go even bigger.
200?
Or I even put 1,000.
Oh.
If you go really big, that's going to make it close to 0. Remember, we had 3 M&Ms out of 90. That's close to 0. 32, we could have put the 200 on the bottom, Ava. If we put 100, it'd be closer to a half than it would be to 0. So when you want to get close to 0, make that denominator huge. And then you know 32 out of 1,000 is really close to 0. Let's look at a half. Remember, we do not want to be equal to. We want to be close. What could my denominator be to make it close to a half? Ruby? 60. It's just a little bit more than half. Perfect. You could make it a little bit less than half. Maybe you put it at 65, and it's just a little less than halfway. As long as you're close to that halfway point. Now we want it to be close to 1, but not equal to 1. Hannah?
33.
33. Super close. Almost the same number, just a little off. Let's look at our second row. I'm sorry. I'm going to have you do the tens on your own. Let's look at the 25. Let's do some denominators. So we have 25 as our denominator. What can we put as a numerator to make it close to 0? If we want this to be close to 0, what could I put? Melanie? 2. 2 is close to 0. Dominic, why don't you sit on this side so you can see the screen? What about making it close to a half? What could I put as my numerator, Zelda?
You could put like maybe like 20s, like.
So the first thing you want to do, Zelda, is ask yourself, what is the halfway point of 25?
Probably like.
Not probably. It is 12 and a half. So we want a number that's close to 12 and a half. So you were saying probably. What were you going to say probably for?
13.
13. Or I believe you were starting to say 15, right?
Right.
Yeah. That would be close to a half. It's not actually a half, but it's close to that halfway point. What about making it close to 1? Ava?
23.
23. Close to that 25, but not quite there. So if they give you a numerator, you need to think of what denominator works. If they give you the denominator, you need to think of what numerator works, putting it close to 0, half, and 1 whole. So you're going to do the second and the fourth lines on your own. Are there any questions about that? And then we have our review. So this is all stuff that we have been working on in Math 6. So if you're not sure how to do something, look back at your objectives to help you remember how to do it. You know what? Get out your whiteboards. We're going to do, everybody get your whiteboards out. Let's do some practice on this table. I'm going to give us a numerator, and you're going to put what would make it close to 0, what would make it close to a half, and what would make it close to 1. So if I give us the numerator of
I forgot the one.
52.
What? Oh.
If we have a numerator of 52, what could we put as a denominator to make it close to 0? Show me. So you're going to have, on the left, you're going to have the 0. In the middle, you're going to have it close to a half. And on the right, you're going to have it close to 1. So you're going to write all of them out. So that's good for 0. Now do the half. So you should have 3 fractions. So Dom, get out your whiteboard and do this. Close to 0, close to half, and close to 1. So I should see 3 fractions. Awesome. Except I put 52 as my numerator. So you want to have 52 as the numerator. What did you put? That would work. Yeah, that would definitely work. Perfect. Oh. Yes. So, Liam, my friend Layla doesn't have hers, and she problem solved by finding a piece of paper to write on. That works too. Yes. $52 out of 50 is not close to a half. That's close to 1 whole. So you want to keep that 52. Just the numerator. Yes. 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 So my 52 was a numerator, so you have to keep it 52 as the numerator and give me new denominators. So keep the 52 as a numerator. Because 52 over 2016 is 1.5, and we want it just at half. So think of what 52 is double. Yes. What? I am still recording. Yes. And if people are watching at home, they are giving denominators that are close to 0, half, and 1 for 52. These were some common ones that I saw. Big number on the bottom, like 1,000, 5,000, even 500, way bigger than 52. To be close to a half, I saw people doing, a lot of people did 100, around 100, because 50 is half of 100. And to be close to 1, I saw a lot of people do 50 or 54, so it's bouncing around, either just under or just over 100. Now this time, I'm going to give you a denominator. And you need to do the same thing, but this time you're giving me a numerator. So this time our denominator is going to be 70. So what numerator would put it close to 0, put it close to a half, put it close to 1 whole? Keep denominator as 70 for all 3 of them. Yes. 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 Once you get your yes from me, you may start on, is that a 1 or a 7? You may start on the word. Okay, then yes. So once you get the thumbs up from me, oh, hold on. That one. Yeah, this one I'm not sure that would be I think you want this to be closer to 0. We'll do 2 out of 70. And this one, we want to be closer to halfway. Halfway is 35. So half of 70 is 35. So you want to be a little bit closer to 35. Yeah, that 55 is too close to 70. Half of 70 is 35. So you want to be closer to that 35. So look at your halfway mark. You did. If I can take 70 out of 100, I can take out 2 whole values. That's not close to halfway. How many times can we take 70 away from 1,000? A lot. So we want that numerator to be super close to 0. Yes. Yes.
The video's still on.
Yes. Yes. Shh. Okay, so we are silent. I am still recording. I saw a lot of people do something like 1 or 2. That is super close to 0. We want our numerator to be close to 0. For the halfway mark, the halfway of 70 is 35. So I would put something like 33. That's almost to that 35. And a whole, I saw a lot of people do like 68, 69. So you're close to that 70. Okay?
Oh, I did 69.
All right. If you are watching at home, we hope you are well. We hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.